Today's April the 30th, 2026. I just did this video, a little 10-minute video, and I didn't have my speaker muted, so I got a bunch of echo, so I got to redo it. But I was wanting to share this about Castaway real quick, how this is kind of tied into 8647. You know, from the release of Castaway to September the 11th, 2001, it's 263 days. From September 11th last year to my prediction date is 263 days if you count both dates. So if you don't count both dates, it's 262 days after 9/11, where James Comey posted the 8647 that exact amount of days after 9/11 2001. Castaway's reminding you of being on the beach with the seashells and the sand. Notice the 262nd prime and the 262nd composite. Aeroplane, just like Castaway in the prime cipher. You know, composites and primes are like opposite of each other. You're dealing with division. A prime number can only be divided by the number itself and the number 1, where a composite number has multiple divisors. But yeah, he's writing cool shell formation on my beach walk, and that is 329 in Latin, just like aeroplane, and those numbers are connected. 8647 is 262. We're connected to 329 again. Air Force One, the presidential airplane, 329. And then when you apply prime numbers in the alphabet, cool shell formation on my beach walk is the 262nd prime number. Alphanumeric, you're just placing the 9 numerical digits before the letter A. Z would be 35. Satanic will pick up at 36 and go up to 61. But notice aeroplane crash is 262, and plane crash in the reverse cipher of this is 263. Notice Tom Hanks is 329. In Love with Kelly Frears, 1077. Donald John Trump Jr., James Comey calling for my dad to be murdered. The 1000th, 77th prime is 8647. I didn't have comments on that. I thought I did. And I noticed this, about April the 25th, the 50s and the 14s. I noticed dead. That reduces down to 14. 1 plus 3 is 4. 1 plus 4 is 5. 1 plus 0 is 1. 1 plus 3 is 50. 4, 5, 1, 4. Probably connected to Pope Leo 14, if I had to guess, somehow. And yeah, the 50th composite is 70. But yeah, I just don't think this is a coincidence at all. He's in a plane crash. We got the 70s popping up that's so connected to flying and the number that I'm always chasing. And by the way, the color white, like the volleyball, is 70 in the same cipher as Wilson and Kelly and Fire. But notice the etymologies of 70. Like this is like Old English, Middle English type of stuff. Perfect match. Reminding you of Flight 93 in September 11th. Top Gun 93. This is, man, I'm getting a bunch of 93s, like Kash Patel equals Erica Kirk with 93 and 150. The FBI director now. That was at the event at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. WHCD, 70. How many people thinks the assassination was staged? 70%. Old English 70 equals president, and so on. This is Ronald Reagan's middle name. Ronald Wilson Reagan. Ronald 70, Reagan 70, Wilson 70, shot 70 days in office. I don't see how you take it squinky dinky. But yeah, from Flight 8646 to my prediction date is 70 days. I think I had comments. Like tide is 70. Like you never know what the tide might bring in because it brought him the sail to his boat. She saves the Jeep Cherokee for him, and he saves the clock. The package, FedEx, Helen Hunt. May 31, my prediction date, 70 days after Flight 8646. shore, sand, reminding you of James Comey's beach walk and him being stranded on a island with a beach, maybe. You know, you got the clock in the same cipher as package, and FedEx, and Helen. Pocket watch with a photo in it. I mean, he's basically a sailor. Notice the EHP exception. Make sure I'm recording. I don't want to have to do this again. You know, you're just simply not reducing 11 and 22 and the letter H, because H in reverse is 19. 1 plus 9 is 10. But yeah, you're not reducing E or P at all, because, you know, that's the 11th letter and the 22nd letter in reverse. You notice 70 is a match to Memphis with 70. And when she's running out, you know, he goes to her house. He finally makes it back to America, and he goes to her house, and she gives him the Jeep, and he's driving off, and it's raining. Of course, Aqua in this same cipher is 70, just like H2O in standard is 70. But yeah, water's very connected to 70. She yells out Jack like 3 times. I think that's the only time she calls him Jack, because his name is Chuck. Yeah, and then he tries to commit suicide, you know. And Ronald Wilson Reagan waves as he's being shot his 70th day in office. And it reminds you of the beach waves, the ocean waves. You know, I'm not sure what that is. And then, you know, James Comey in the court yesterday got indicted the day before. 349 days after the 8647 post, the 70th prime number. Notice court, the 119th prime, where Ronald is 70 and Reagan is 70, and all those shifted ciphers like Avgod. Damn, I went blank again. James Comey is 119. You know what I mean? And those ciphers where Ronald 70, Reagan 70. And then Ronald Reagan reduces the 70. But yeah, September 11th equals James Bryan Comey Jr. in this same cipher that court's the 119th prime number. He's going to court on the 119th day with 246 days left in the year, and that's exactly the number of days after 9/11 and before 9/11 when he posted 8647. You got to be dead ass asleep to think that it's all a coinky dinky. And yeah, I'm just showing the old ways to spell 70 is 119 in ordinal, whereas if you structure it with the 100 cipher, it's 9/11. I had a Back to the Future video, part 2, you know, Back to the Future 2 equals September 11th in Gematria with the 9/11 symbology in that movie. I need to re-upload that video, but it's like 2 hours long. But I'm just breaking down how that whole movie is about the number 70. It's just freaking insane. I want to say that's all I wanted to cover. But yeah, I was showing here how the guy with Flight 93, his name reduces down to 93. The pilot of Flight 93 in 9/11. And you know, his name's the 156 in ordinal, the 156 prime's 9/11. But yeah, I'm going to get that together because I'm seeing a whole bunch of 93s. Like, just a bunch. And, you know, it's connected to Top Gun. So anyways, yeah, I think that's all I wanted to cover. Yeah, it didn't take me a whole 10 minutes this time because I kind of went over it quicker than the other time. But yeah, just watch for May the 31st with Trump. I'm telling you, I don't think I'm wrong on this one. We're going to find out. Not much longer. Alright, I appreciate y'all watching.